My name is Andrey, I came from Moscow, and in there we do this space, which is almost like a hacker space, a cultural space for collaboration. And I could give you a talk about all the projects that they've done and could go into details of our methodology, but I think I'd like to present you a very simple idea, but because, like all simple ideas, to really understand them, you have to pay attention and listen to the words. So I wouldn't have that many images in my presentation, and I would might mumble sometimes, but please give it a try. So my idea is, when it comes to ownership, I think the most important ownership is the ownership of our ideas and our beliefs, of the discourse, pardon me for this word, of our culture and essentially of us. What we do, what we think is the most important thing, and I think we're not really owning it. I think we're shoppers for ourselves. We go into this supermarket of ideas, of beliefs, of innovations. We pick our trolley and we go, oh, this is nice. Innovation, tinkering. I'm not trying to disregard any of these beliefs, but I'm just trying to know that we sort of stumble upon them and then accept them and then repost them. So we go into this supermarket and we think sustainability is a nice one, it's packaged well and the people are super nice, so I'll take that and maybe use it someday. Out of this we could make really nice pancakes, and then we sort of put it on the shelves in our mental cabinet and then live with it. And I think this is not okay. I think we are really consumers, and the repost culture is blinding us. We're walking blindly into the future, and I think that future is something we can create, and I think it's something that we should create, because otherwise I'm not sure what's the point of living, really. Sorry for being so dramatic, but if you're only processing information that you know better than a microcontroller. So this is a real problem, the problem of consumption of ideas. And I think one of the most stacking examples of this is that we can't agree on anything. We can't agree on the most important things. We can all agree on difficult concepts, on internet security, on big data, and I hate to say this, but my suspicion is that because we don't truly understand these things, and that's why we can find agreement around it. It's very easy to accept something that is just an idea and you cannot relate to it. And during the workshops, I ask questions: what is freedom, or what is communication, what is waiting, the most basic things. And I find that that people really struggle with this in groups. And I'd like you to think whether we can leave this consumption or not. Maybe it's not possible. And can we just not quote Wikipedia and quote conversations that we had beforehand where we arrived at these ideas? So my question before I came back to Moscow a year and a half ago, after living in the UK for a while, is how can I do it? Because for Russia, I think it's especially important. I think Russian media and Russian culture had such unbelievable story of living without advertising, living without common knowledge about visual communication, and then in the 90s, this marketing bomb for ideas, it just hit Russia, and it really stuck. People are really easy to agree with many ideas, and I think it's a problem. And how I'm proposing to fight against this is through methodology. And methodology is understanding of methods, and I guess accepting methods and agreeing to them. And we have many methods in our daily lives. We have a method of being on a date, a method for conversations. We have a process for giving a lecture, going to a pub. There's loads of processes that we developed as human beings for exchanging ideas. But I think they cannot they're just not good enough for the new world that we live in. I think going to a pub and discussing Edward Snowden is not good enough. I think within this discussion, we have to synthesize new ideas and come to agreements. And for this, there's been many methods developed. There's design thinking, service design, user-centered design. I don't know how many of you are aware of these things, but they're really developed methodologies for creative work, sort of how to get from an idea to a product, what's the process. And my idea is we should bring this structure to communication and co-creation. I think that we could learn a lot from the technology world, from the startup world in our daily practices, in improving our exchange of information, because I think that simple networking is it's not working. I think by hearing an idea and then retelling it and then making mood boards of this idea and making Pinterest boards, it's just not way to go. And I think that we should revise our ideas and synthesize new ones, clash them together in the co-creation, and we should, as I said, co-create the discourse, co-create information, knowledge, and environment that we live in. I think it's about co-creation of culture, and yes, it has been done with these methods, with the design thinking and business models for creative innovation, but I think that people don't do it well enough, and I think that's because we as passionate people, passionate about ideas and our work, when we come up with some process or cool idea, we get so concentrated on the little bits, on the processes, that we end up thinking that these processes are the most important things. So when you look at design thinking school, people come up with, people go through workshops, write loads of post-its, do exercises, and structure their ideas through where every step is talked about. And I think that usually there's no choice in these kind of structures. When you concentrate on process so much and develop such good methodology for working together, you end up being led through by the hand like a child through the ideas, and this is also, it's at the radical side. It's simply not good enough, because we're human beings and we're better than just going from one board of ideas to another board of ideas and then using customer surveys and aggregating the customer surveys. We're here not to process information. I think soon we'll have to accept it and let it go, because computers do it better than us. Yeah, so we focus on processes. And my idea is to simplify the methodology. I think that the overall structure of design methods, of the idea that first we analyze, then synthesize, then analyze, then synthesize again, it's really good, but maybe we should gut it from the refined process that we developed for businesses. Just leave the time and the structure. Just meet with someone for 5 hours and separate it into 4 bits. And first hour would be for jotting ideas down. The second hour would be for discussing them and formulating. The third hour would be for thinking of what we can do with this new understanding. And the fifth hour would be for packaging it up into an idea that we can share with others. So from just a conversation, move to something where we can come to agreements and then create something that we can share, a new knowledge, a new idea. And but I think what makes my approach to this different is that I think we should leave space for argument. I think we shouldn't neutralize arguments. I think we shouldn't neutralize disagreements, and we should leave space for hard-earned agreements. I think we as humans only truly own the idea when we earned it with sweat and blood, and when you manage to disprove someone wrong, or you manage to prove someone wrong, and you two came to a new hard-earned agreement, because this is when the real excitement about ideas happens, and we try to engineer idea creation so much that we take emotion out. We We're emotional beings. We should learn to live with emotions. And when we create, we should have methodology for still being human beings and passionate. So for that, I created NI. NI is not only a joke from Monty Python. It also stands for R&D in Russia. So NI is community plus methodology plus space. It's located in Moscow, in the very center of Moscow, next to a KGB building, and it looks really nice inside. And during the days, there are startups working there, and during the weekdays, and on the weekends, we do these sessions. We've done 7 of them in the last half a year, and they look just like normal hackathons, but people don't hack. People synthesize ideas and understandings. They come to an agreement of what freedom is, and then through this agreement create something. Not, technology is the answer, but what was the question? We're so fixated, we're very passionate about all we do, and we're so fixated on the technicalities of things, and we forget about the bigger picture, and for this, you need to take a step back. So first one we've done, the last one we've done was NI communication, and it was done through support of British Council and FutureEverything. I'd like to thank the team of British Council and the team of FutureEverything. Without them, it wouldn't have happened. And we gathered 40 brilliant individuals we selected them from a list of 200, and most of them are professionals at big companies or they're top people in their fields. And we gathered them for 2 days. And then within these 2 days, on the first day, each group came to an agreement. And then on the second day, from that agreement, they created the project. And there was loads of clash, fight, and struggle. There's been people who dominated other people. The teams broke up, etc. But there was confusion and uncertainty. No one knew what was going on. I didn't give much instruction apart from setting the time and saying, now we think, what we can do, and now let's think how we can do it. But through that, people found their own ways, and I think that's important. I think we shouldn't let people shop for methodologies also. And so why do I do it? I like to repeat things, but it's such a simple idea that you have to sort of to think about it again. We just need to revise and synthesize like humans. We revise what we know. We talk about it together in a group, and then we think of how we can create it into something new. I've got a new saying about Moscow. You read 2 books, and you write a 3rd one. And I think this should be true. I think we should make a 3rd thing out of 2 things when we come to information. So where is this whole thing going? It's going. I hope this would last, first of all, because what I'm doing is, it doesn't create startups. Well, you've seen things and you've seen Touchback, but it doesn't create necessarily fundable ideas. It creates ideas that people believe into and which act as a commentary to the world. So I hope it would last. And I hope we could create bonds between people, and that they could come up with new ways of working together. And most of all, I hope that we would create something and be conscious while creating. And with this project, we also want it to be scalable. We want this simple methodology of meeting, separating your time into chunks, and going through ideas. We want it to be taken up by people. And we're almost there. So I run NI sessions, I do microformats, consulting companies, and now I'm working with a brilliant team setting up an evening and weekend school for children, which would unite children with a community of professionals, where children would come up with ideas they really care about and that they agree on, and then professionals would be hands for them and would teach them through making. So that people can find a new way of consuming information, of consuming knowledge, not through doctrine or for ideas that come from the top or that lie on shelves around you, but from passion, as the previous speaker said, and from motivation. Because I think this is the hardest thing to teach, hardest thing to acquire, but I think this is the thing that changes everything. And I also help experimental businesses. For example, we want to set up a furniture firm that just walks around this idea, people making just what they want. And I think that we should make this a routine, really. I think it's a good idea for businesses and for startups to move into design thinking, but I think it's good to stay on the higher level in the beginning and not use tools and processes, but use methodology, because processes and methodology are two different things. And this should stick if we want to own the future, because I don't know, you could create new things, you could create new startups, new products, but you might not be the owner of it. You just process it, but in you much more refined way. You heard something here, you heard something there, and then it just ran through you and you created something, but it wasn't really you. You didn't create it through passion and through struggle. So I'd like to thank you, and you can see a brief explanation of what I was trying to say. I can imagine it might be difficult to grasp it, and please check out the photos at the hashtags. And thank you again to FutureEverything and to the teams, to the 4 teams that created their projects and brought here. Thank you.